All right, let me show you how kernel can help you validate and catch breaking changes or side effects when you make AI code changes. So I have this Python project. It's a quite simple project, a gaming app basically. As you can see here, kernel is running. We have our test environment running. So the Postgres, the service under test, and I will want to modify this specific get games endpoint. So this endpoint already have some baseline tests. So as you can see, if we run kernel, we see we have 3 different test scenarios here covering this endpoint. So now I'll ask cursor to basically make a change to this endpoint by adding a authentication step and also adding the Redis cache to make lookups faster. And I'll introduce a bug on purpose, and so you'll see how it's automatically caught by kernel. So let me go here and ask it to, I created already a plan for the implementation, so implement phase 1. So let's implement phase 1. So as you can see, I can show you the plan. It's basically, so what I'm asking it is just to add an ownership check for the games and add a Redis cache basically and introduce a bug on purpose. So as you can see, so it's working, it's adding the Redis dependency, it's changing the code, and great, it's almost done. As you can see here, also kernel is already catching the changes and updating the index in the background. So ask. Okay, so kernel finished the index. So let's go check first in the environment. So as you can see here, kernel picked up the new dependency, so the Redis, and actually started that locally, which is great. And now let's go check out this endpoint to see what changed. So I'll rerun the baseline tests, and right away you can see here that we caught the bug here. So we're having an internal error, the serialization error, so we're not returning. So let's ask cursor now to fix the issue. So fix the issue. And so again, cursor is going to go ahead and apply the fix. We're going to keep this. And as you can see here, kernel is already updating the index to apply the new fixes. All right, so kernel finished applying the fix and restarting the service and updating the index. As you can see, all our dependencies are still there. Great. So let's go check out the endpoint and see what happened here. So if we run the existing baseline, as you can see, now everything is green, everything is passing. If we see the report and that issue where we had, so now we're getting a return for our query. So now let's go ahead and, because we added new logic to the endpoint, so now when we click update test suite, kernel is going to reanalyze the endpoint and basically going to create test scenarios to cover and to test for the new logic we introduced. So here it's analyzing the endpoint, and it's going to create a test plan and implement the new test scenarios for that new behavior. So if we click into the plan that it created, as you can see here, if we go, it is the scenario that we had before. It's not going to change anything. And here we're adding one new scenario to cover the 403 forbidding access, which is basically the authentication check. All right, so kernel finished implementing and updating the tests. So as you can see here, we added one new test scenario, and this covers the authenticated user, that the logic that we just added. And there you have it. That's it. So that's how kernel can help you catch issues, catch breaking changes, and then whenever you're done, automatically update all your tests to keep everything in sync with your code changes.